Hey all, Hibber here. Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to take you through my list of the best pro gear or accessories that you could possibly buy for your new Nintendo Switch 2. So keep in mind that this is not supposed to be a list of, cheap stuff that you pick up that improve your experience. Some of these items on my list are quite expensive, and some of them are actually more expensive than the Switch 2 itself. So just keep that in mind. Now I will be starting with the cheapest accessories and then moving on to the more, very high-end gear. Alright, so let's start off with number one here, which fixes an issue that I also had with the first Switch. And it basically boils down to the fact that the Switch 1 and also the Switch 2 are fairly small machines, and I don't think they are ergonomically correct. So when I play them in handheld mode, I get really tired in my hands because there's just not enough plastic to hold on to really to get a good firm grip without actually straining your hands. So luckily there's an easy and cheap fix to this, and it's just a matter of buying one of the many available grips for the Switch 2, which you can buy online in, pretty much any shop out there, eBay, Amazon, EB Games, whatever. And what it really does is that you just slide your Switch 2 into the grip, and it holds it in place, and it also allows you to have more, plastic to actually grip on when you play the Switch. So that means that when you are in handheld mode, you are not stressing your hands as much, and it's far more relaxed, and it feels like playing with a full-size controller, right? Because unless you are a toddler, then the Switch 2 grips are actually way too small. So the price for this piece of gear here, or accessory if you will, it comes in all sorts of sizes and prices, right? But about $20-30 seems to be the average price point. And you can pick them up anywhere, like I said, EB Games, eBay, Amazon, anywhere online really. And I think it's definitely worth it. Of course, if you don't play so much in handheld, you can skip out on this one here, but I think it's an absolute must. Alright, so next up we start to move into the more expensive territory, because if you already have a Switch 2, I'm sure you've noticed that, while the older games take up 10, 20 gigabytes, something like that, the new Switch 2 games are big. Like Zelda is more than 20 gigabytes, and Cyberpunk is no less than 60 gigabytes. And I'm sure that's going to get even worse. So as a pro gamer or someone who's really into your Switch 2, I would suggest that you go out there and you get a minimum 1 terabyte memory card for your Switch 2, and I would actually recommend getting a 2 terabyte. Now remember, this has to be the new fancy Express type of SD cards. The old ones are not going to work, and your old Switch 1 memory card is not going to work. So these ones are pricey little buggers here, and 1 terabyte costs minimum 200 Australian dollars, and the 2 terabyte will probably be somewhere around the $500, and I haven't even seen one for sale yet. So the Switch supports up to 2 terabytes, so I suggest you get that. So that brings us to the next piece of gear here, and that is the Switch 2 Pro controller. Now I have this controller on the list because pretty much the rest of my gear here I'm going to show you is with just one purpose in mind. And the Switch 2 Pro controller plays a very important role in that. And of course, if you're going to play your Switch 2 docked a lot, then I highly recommend you get one of these, because the quality is just outstanding, and it does make you a better player. And if you think you've ever touched a very smooth analog stick before, for example on PlayStation 5 or similar, well, you haven't until you've tried the Switch 2 controller, because the analog sticks on this controller here are just out of the world. They are absolutely amazing, and they are just so smooth. But like I said, there is a plan to buying this controller here that I will slowly outline over the next few items that are picked up here. And the cost for this controller here at the moment, in Australia at least, is about $120. So again, pricey thing here, and we're getting into pricier territory as we move along. Alright, next up, I'm sure you've noticed when you play your brand new Switch 2 that the battery is a lot worse than the old Switch 1. It only lasts about half the time. So I suggest that you go out there and you buy an expensive and a large power bank, something like 10,000 milliamps minimum. And this one here is a power bank, but it's also something else. It's also a dock. So this one is a little bit more expensive than your usual power bank, but it all plays into what I will show you in the end, right? So this particular power bank here is $129, but because, like I said earlier, this is also a dock that I'm actually required to use for the next piece of gear. Alright, so the Pro controller and the dock all leads up to this piece of gear here, which I think is a must for anyone who has a Switch 2 and actually plays it in handheld mode or like takes it on public transport or whatever. Because what this really is a pair of XR glasses. Now it's the same as VR glasses, except these ones just focus on showing you a 130-inch OLED screen right in front of your face. So for me, the biggest problem with the Switch when you're on the move is always that, well, the screen is small, right? It's 8 inches, actually less than 8 inches. And if you put on these glasses here and plug the dock into your Switch 2 and the glasses into the dock, you will be able to see the Switch 2 screen on the 130-inch screen here inside these glasses. And trust me, it is a world of difference. And of course, these glasses work with pretty much anything with a USB-C output. So also HDMI, for example, so you can use it with PlayStation 5, Xbox, pretty much anything, also Steam Deck. So these guys here cost normally about $450 Right now, actually, they're on sale for $400. So that's pricey, yes. And if you add all these things up together, it's probably around $1,000. But it does make your Switch 2 like a real pro gaming machine that you can take anywhere and just, you know, have an awesome time. Now, of course, like I said earlier, most of the pieces of gear I'm showing you in this video here all lead up to the fact that I want to use the VR glasses, or XR glasses if you will, as the main way of actually playing my Switch 2. And trust me, it works excellent. And the best thing is that you don't have to worry about the Switch 2 screen not being an OLED screen, right? Because the glasses are OLED. And actually the Switch screen is off when you play using the glasses. So, well, you're gonna get the best image quality possible. And the glasses support up to 120 Hz and 1080p. So the same as the Switch screen. And of course also HDR, but when you're using the dock, unfortunately HDR isn't possible at the moment, but hopefully that'll be changed in the future. So like I said, this is not a cheap list of add-ons or gear or accessories, whatever you want for your Switch 2, but it does make the Switch 2 pretty much a powerhouse and a truly mobile console that you can play anywhere and still have, you know, a 130-inch mega display. So highly recommended. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you out there.